side to side. You can say, JC, you're too much for me. I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. I am what I want you to want, what I want you to feel, and it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you turn your back if you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not. I'll be here 'cause you're all that I got.
Good evening, everyone. I could swore that was new music.
It was.
That was new music.
I was going to say you threw this again, Daz. But yeah, welcome to Top Table Talk. We are back again to talk all things football. Game week 1 is in the bank, and we've got lots to talk about. We've got the boys here and a few that are running a little bit late that will be coming to join us once they're back home as well. But obviously, you got yourself, myself, you got Daz, Chris, Stabbers joined us today, Spurs fan from Football Heritage TV, and of course, we've got Wolfie from Forest Fans TV. Charlie, Man United, and potentially Adam will all be joining at some point. So, boys, how are we? How was our just initial feeling after game week 1? Just a word to describe how you're feeling right now. We'll start with Daz. How are you feeling?
Game week 1, I'm positive because we covered in a reaction, but no, I think we put up a good display with all the background noise. But I'm actually getting a bit pissed off now, though. If we weren't pissed off before, I was pissed off because the striker situation. It's just like, where are we going next with this? And when you look at the big picture, where are we going next? So yeah, that's on my mind at the moment. But game week 1, yeah, brilliant.
Chris, how's things? How just a word to say how you're feeling after game week 1.
I would say encouraged. Battling performance. Probably should have had all 3 points. The fact that we've come away with a clean sheet at Villa Park, took a point. I think it could be worse, especially with no striker. So yeah, I would say encouraged, Pete, would be the word for me from this weekend.
Wolfie, you're a club that got 3 points on the board, convincing win. How are you describing how you feel right now, mate?
I can describe it in 3 words, mate. 3-point collectors. That's what we are right now. Yeah, so I'm loving it, man. I'm about to go live in a minute to say here we go on Douglas Luiz. We got Callum Mwendo in. We got McAtee. Got Hutchinson. More to come. This window is looking good right now. The only thing that's put me on a downer today is hearing Spurs linked with my boy at Kliush, man. But outside of that, even that's not going to bring me down. So I'm happy, man. I'm happy. Even Saba's been smiling this week. You know, it's been a good week.
Saba, yeah, there's been a couple of smiles creeping out there. Good result for you against Burnley, and then links today looking like there's a potential deal agreed in principle for Eze. There's that smile. That's what we. There we go.
You're worried if it's a legal approach.
How you feeling, fella?
I'm good, man. I'm good. 3-point collectors. I love it. Nothing's ever straightforward. It's like a deal's going to be done, but not quite yet. Yes, it's done. We've got to wait for Palace to find a new player first. It's like, oh my gosh, the season started. So yeah, listen, it's threatening. It's threatening to be a good window, but at the moment it's 13 days exactly, right? I believe 13 days from 2 hours ago. 13 days to go. So yeah, good times. Leaving it till the last couple of weeks, and yeah, I'm excited.
Wait, Sab, it closes at 5 p.m.
I think it closes at 5 p.m., doesn't it, on a Monday, if I'm not wrong?
I'm glad you said that, man.
Yeah,
I was going to set my stream up for like 11.
No, please do. Please still set up a stream. Call it like transfer deadline day hour or something. I'd like to see that, Wolfie. That would be a good stream.
I did actually know it closed at 5 p.m. So that'll that will cancel out all the nonsense between sort of 12 p.m. and 8 or 9, because there seems to be a lot of nonsense of will there, won't there's going on that just stretches on hours. At least then you'll know by sort of that Monday. Is it on a Monday? I think it's a Monday. Yeah. It closes. You're going to know which way it's going to go with most deals at that point. So I actually like that. But look, Wolfie, we'll rewind back to you. A lot of question marks. We said it last week. There has been question marks over Forest. People not giving you boys a chance. You come up against a Brentford, which there were massive question marks on them, and I'm sure you'll be able to tell us a little bit more about them than us. Convincing win, really good performance. That's my interpretation of it. But how are you feeling, mate? And potentially Douglas Luiz added to the ranks.
He's done, mate. Here we go. Spoiler alert for my stream in a few minutes. But yeah, look, I will caveat it by saying Brentford are crap. Like, you know what we said about them, boys, and how everyone's worried about them? Like this, I think the question is, are they 20th or 19th come the end of the season? They were terrible. Or it could be that we were that good. But either way, look, I'll speak on it from a Forest point of view. That's the best 45 minutes I've seen in a long time. We didn't counter-attack. I was there when we beat Brighton 7-0, and we were playing counter-attack even then. This is just a possession, domination, chances created. Gibbs, White, Anderson, and Sangare was sensational in that midfield, man. That Jordi Maradona, what were you thinking? What were you thinking? He ran that game. So yeah, it looks really good. And then everyone keeps telling me Chris Wood won't score this season. He's already got 10% of his tally from last year in one game. Another ex-Newcastle player. I hear you guys could do the striker, so you know what I'm saying.
Did we have a buyback clause there? Would we do it maybe at this stage?
Maybe Man City got buyback clause and everyone. Nate sells. Maybe you guys have done it. But nah, boys, honestly, I'm really happy, but I'm not getting ahead of myself. I'm not coming on here shameless. I think I'll know more about my team after Sunday. Palace, very good team. We got them away. They've got their whole thing about Forest because they don't want to blame their own owner. It's going to be really hostile. It's going to be a tough, aggressive match. I think when we sit here this time next week, I'll know a lot more about my team. But yeah, so far, I honestly couldn't say a single player played bad at the weekend. They all put in minimum 7 out of 10. Most of them 8 to 9s. It's looking good, but it's the first game. Take the 3 points. Go on.
I've got to say, Wolfie, just to say, I when I first saw the Anderson assist, I thought there was an element of luck to it, and then I seen the angle, and like that's some assist. That is some assist. The way to pass. It was when he's about to be tackled. It was a great assist. I don't know if you boys saw it as well. But
yeah, and Chris, the other thing is, it shows you how much trust they have in him. Because if you look at Chris Wood, he started running before the pass was made. He anticipated. He knows Anderson's got that pass in his locker. So yeah, it clicked, man. Like we went 7 games with 1 goal. We trebled it in 45 minutes. You know what I'm saying? It's like apparently preseason means nothing. Everyone keeps telling me this week. I don't care. We won. That's all that matters. So yeah, I'm buzzing. And then I don't know how Douglas Luiz fits in. I don't know how McAtee fits in. Hutchinson, I think we've overpaid for him, but he's got good potential. Callum Wendu, I really like him. Like he is a goal. I think you guys were linked with him. I think Spurs were linked with him as well. So a lot of clubs have looked at him and we've picked him up cheap, 26 mil. The Douglas Luiz deal's 26 mil after the loan. Yeah, Marinakis is just the guy.
Because really, really good deals, have to say, that you guys have put together. And you've talked about the fact that, you know, where are they all going to fit in? You're going to be fighting on 4 fronts this season.
Exactly.
And this is the thing, like, you know, you're in the Europa League, tough competition in its own right. It's going to be demanding on your players because a lot of those players wouldn't necessarily have had that experience, certainly not with Forest before. So therefore, it's going to be a new experience for you. So those players will all get used at some point. But Sava, I'll come to you just quickly on Forest. You might not want to talk positively about Forest, but were people maybe a little bit too early? Not necessarily yourself, but people a bit too early to jump on Forest, thinking that they were going to fail. They've made a positive start, but even more so to that, they've added in the window and they've added some really good talent.
Yeah, they have. They have had a good window. I just, to be fair, Wolfie and I were just WhatsApping about an hour ago about it. I said, yeah, they have had a good window. I'm not someone who buys so much into pre-season as well. I've seen my club have pre-seasons that are amazing, and everyone goes, "Oh my god, this is it. This is the year. Look at, we're sweeping everyone aside," and then you're terrible, and the complete opposite. So I don't read too much into it. I think Forest will do nicely again, as much as I'd love them to get relegated purely because of Wolfie. I think they'll be comfortably in the top half again, and I do think they'll be there or thereabouts for 7th, 8th for me again. I do. They've got, they've not changed too much in their team. They've made some good signings, but they've not lost other than Alanga. Tell me if I'm wrong. I can't think of anyone else of note that they've lost. Yeah. That was the main thing for me. Can they keep hold of their players? They have. And yeah, they've got that togetherness. They know how to play. And I think the only question mark is going to be like same with every club. When you sign 3 or 4 players, how do you integrate them without upsetting the rhythm, without upsetting the flow? But at the same time, when you're in Europe, they're going to need these bodies, because it's very difficult playing, as you boys know from when you were in the Champions League. It's very difficult playing 2 games a week. You can't just keep rattling out the same 11, hoping that they're all going to be on top form. So, listen, I wanted Callum Awundo at Spurs, so I can't knock that. Douglas Luiz, solid signing. If he can repeat his Aston Villa form. I like Ndoye as a winger. Let's see how he settles in. I like him from what I've seen of him last season. And the other one I'm missing is McAtee, right?
And Hutchinson.
And Hutchinson as well. Yeah, God, yeah, you have had a good window. Yeah, Hutchinson I like. And McAtee, listen, you don't get minutes under Pep as a youngster if you're not good. So they're getting a very good, well-coached footballer. Yeah, I don't like that I'm saying these things, but I think they'll be fine. I think they'll have a good season. And I think if they don't get top half, I'm sure Wolfie will agree with me here. If they don't get top half, I think that will be failure with the squad that they've got and the manager they've got, and
100%.
Off the back of last year. So there's my sensible answer. It's only on the Football's 12 Man podcast that me and Wolfie rip each
we've got to
other's
let
heads
our
off.
hair down on that one, don't we?
Yeah.
I think you raised an excellent point about the players we've lost, because everyone kept saying, again, you're going to get stripped out, blah, blah, blah. Everyone has signed a new contract, barring Callum Hudson-Odoi, and that's pretty much just waiting for the ink to dry. But with that being said, Forest have brought in £100 million in sales from all our scraps. So obviously you guys gave us about 55 for Alanga. We sold Danilo for 20. We got 8 million for Matt Turner. Like, it was crazy. We had another 15 for Ramon Sosa, another fringe player. There was loads of like 10, 15 million deals that we did that just kind of brought the tally up to 100, which has made our net spend about 46 million so far. And with Douglas Luiz, this is a loan with an option turning into an obligation of 26 million. Absolute bargain. And we don't have to pay it till next year. So I'm ecstatic, boys. But
Don't do that. Don't do that. Don't do that with referring to Alanga as scrapped.
No. I wasn't. I was talking about that. That's why I said Alanga first and the rest.
Okay. You didn't make that clear, though. I was just pointing out.
I'll clarify. No, we lost one first team player, and the rest were all just those squad players. Apart from Danilo, look, I still think Danilo was an excellent player. He just had that horrific injury last season. But the rest I just need to see it on the pitch now, boys. I'm not going to get ahead of myself. I usually do.
All right. The gun goes back into the drawer for now. The gun goes back into the drawer. Because I thought you were coming for us. But what are your next 3 games? Who have you got in your next 3?
We got Palace, West Ham, and then Arsenal, and Sunderland and Burnley. I can't remember which way around those 2 are. So outside of the Arsenal game, you can argue all of them we have a chance at winning at. And then we've got you and Villa, I think, following that. So I want to go into that Newcastle Villa period with a lot of points on the board. So yeah, just roll on. I just want to get this Sunday thing out the way. D's gonna cry. D's gonna want to do this and the other. I hear it. I get out their way. Let them say what they want about Marinakis. If we can get 1 or 3 points, I'll be more than happy. And yeah, we'll probably win the Europa League now as well. I mean, exactly. If Spurs did it.
Oh,
I'm just reading the comments, Sav. I'm just reading the comment. Weren't my words.
You 1 minute you say you're going to get your head of yourself, and the next minute you say you're going to win the Europa League.
They've got to win it.
In my mind, I'm now thinking we win the league. All right, so don't push me too much, Pete, because I might actually say it out loud. All right,
you've got to win it. After all this time of telling me that Gibbs White shouldn't be joining a smaller club than Forest and Spurs, and that you guys have got to go and win the Europa League now, because even if shitty Spurs can do it, you guys have got to go and do it. No excuses. We're a smaller club than you. You've got the 2 stars that you keep pointing at to everyone. Go and win the Europa League, and if you don't, I want that sign down. I want that sign down, or one of the stars at least. Cover one of the stars.
I give it to you.
No, we don't deserve it. Our manager just talks about it. We talk about winning stars. We don't actually do it. All right.
But yeah, boys, I need to go and announce Douglas Luiz.
Yeah. Go on, you jump on. If you can jump back on.
Yeah, I'll try and jump back on.
Yeah,
boys.
come and join this. Top man. But
yeah.
Enjoy your announcement, and we'll catch you in a bit.
And Saba, stay away from Akliouche.
Mate, I'd love him. I've got Spurs fans telling me right now they don't rate him and wouldn't want him.
Are you joking me?
Mate, I'm not joking. Spurs fans
if you get Akliouche and Eze, then
Mate.
I think you could be in a title race. That's how highly I rate Akliouche.
You need to be worried about PSG. You know, you do realise that PSG want him.
Yeah, he wants PSG, but PSG aren't going after him. Like Marinakis, if you're watching, at the end of the day, we always win. Go get me Akliouche, and we win the league. Yeah. On that note, boys, I'll see you guys in a bit.
Definitely. Catch you in a bit, Wolfie.
Okay, Wolf.
See you there, Wolfie.
Wolfie's off to announce their new signing, so we'll allow him that spot to do that. But Saba, look, we'll talk about you because fantastic win for you against Burnley. People will say, "Oh, you know, it's just Burnley," but you know the way you dismantled them, I thought was quite impressive. And as well as that, you know, to boot, you've made some good signings who seem to be adding to what you're doing on the pitch, and then the links with Eze. Like I said it too early, you got to be happy with what you're seeing from not only the people coming in, but your manager and what he's already doing at the moment. Like, how are you feeling with things at this moment in time?
We've got a proper manager. I'm so happy. We've got a coach. We've got, you know, I know people will say we won the Europa League, but every game was, without talking about Ange too much, every game was the same. Go out, wide open, let everyone rip through you. We got a coach now. We've seen it. We've played 2 competitive games, one against PSG, one against Burnley, 2 very different formations. One was the wing backs. The next one, we've gone to the 4-2-3-1. I feel sorry for Frank in some way. We started the season with no recognised playmaker in the squad, so we're having to kind of fit around that at the moment. With Kulu's got a long-term injury, Maddison's out for the season. But listen, yeah, it was Burnley, but we had to win it, right? Because last season we lost to 2 of the 3 promoted teams at it's still White Hart Lane in my mind, all right? We lost to Palace and Palace. We lost to Leicester and Ipswich at White Hart Lane last year. So 2 of the promoted clubs. So when people are saying it's only Burnley, sure, but we need to make sure we win those games. And the best thing for me, Pete, was last year we lost 10 home games. 10, which is just simply not. It doesn't. Listen, I'm not saying Tottenham are. I'm not saying we're City or we're Liverpool, but we're Tottenham, right? Like we shouldn't be losing 10 games in our own backyard. So it was really important that he got off to a good start. It wasn't. Listen, the first start, it wasn't the greatest performance, but without the playmakers, I didn't think it was ever going to be free flowing. But Kudus just lit up the lane, and if we can add Eze, Every Spurs fan just doing this with their X account at the moment, just like refreshing for somebody of note to give us the green light. If we can get Eze as well, I think it gives us a completely different dynamic. And suddenly going forward with Eze and Kudus, I think teams will start to fear us a bit more. Not saying there's not more to do, but I think they'll fear us a bit more. So look, it is what it is at the moment. We've not done enough in the window. There's we've got a fortnight left, 13 half days, whatever you want to say. And they've got to get a few big players through the door for Thomas Frank. We need 2 more attacking players. If we get that through the door, then I'm quietly confident we can have a good season. But we've got a lot to make up, lads. We finished like 28 points behind you lot. We finished, I think, was it 28 points behind you lot and Villa, right? I think, were you neck and neck with Villa at the end?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, you got 10 wins there. So we've got to play catch up. And then if we want to go above teams like Newcastle, teams like Villa, you've got to bring in quality, right? You can bring in numbers, but we need quality. And so far, Paulinho, superb signing on loan, superb signing. Kudus, superb signing. It's not enough. It's not enough. Got to get Eze. Looks like the Savio deal's not going to happen, but you've got to get, Yakalush, somebody like that. A Matoma. I don't know. Get something to complement Kudus. So, yeah, quietly confident, but this smile might be evaporated in 2 weeks' time if we haven't done any more business, because it will be a long season with the Champions League as well, as you guys will know. You guys are in it as well. So, it's going to be a long season.
Saga, can I ask you something? Was Richarlison chosen because of a lack of fitness with Solanke, or was Richarlison put in the 11 because Frank wanted to start with him?
Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say. Like 2 peas in a pod, Richie and Solanke. I don't particularly rate either of them. But yeah, you would think that Solanke is the number 1 choice at the club. But he hasn't been fit all pre-season.
Right.
Richie's played. Richie did nothing in pre-season, but had a good game against PSG, and then scored a couple of worldies against Ipswich. And I would expect that, right? I would expect that Brazil's number 9 would grab a couple of goals. Is he going to be the striker moving forwards? I'm guessing Frank will keep him in there until Solanke does something to win it back. But I want who you're going after. If I'm honest, I want Wissa.
Oh, you want Wissa? Apparently, 60 million now, Sava.
Isn't everybody with 2 legs and a heartbeat 60 million these days? It's Chelsea. They've ruined transfers for all of us, haven't they? This bloke here and his mates ruined it for all of us.
Your fault.
Champions of the world.
Well, welcome.
This fella's fault. That fella's fault as well. Todd. Todd and that Charlie guy.
Look at the money in that photo. The money on display in that photo is disgusting, isn't it? Look at the
net worth between the 2 of you.
I mean, the net worth between the 2 of us, I don't even know. It's not even you can't even calculate it. That is a disgusting amount of wealth in that photo.
Well, you've got a $5 in the bank, so what's he worth?
Yeah.
Oh. But yeah, we blame Chelsea for these 60 million signings that you keep popping out all over the place. But look, with Wissa, I'm not sure. I'm not sure now if anyone gets him. It seems like it's a really weird situation. I say weird situation. It seems like a similar situation to another situation that we're currently going through with our number 14.
Common now, isn't it?
Yeah. He's kicking off, saying he wants to leave to go to Liverpool. Wish is kicking off, saying he wants to come to Newcastle. They're both going about it in different ways, but ways that are going to piss off the fan base. And I've seen a lot of Brentford fans and Brentford fans always seem quite pleasant. They seem quite mellow and relaxed and chilled. I've seen them angry. I've seen them like going absolutely. Some of the tweets I've received from Brentford fans, I would have never expected it in a million years. And I'm seeing everything going towards it.
Do you know what I love is when they what this has done is when they delete the photos off their social media. They remove Brentford from the bio, and then he deletes all his Brentford photos, and he deletes his profile pic. I just love it. As if they're gonna be like, oh shit, he's deleted his photos now. We're gonna have to sell him.
Isn't it when their wife starts following nail salons in the local area?
Mate,
and like that,
in the local area,
yeah. Morgan Gibbs White's wife, apparently, or fiance, was followed a nail salon or whatever it was, and Morgan Gibbs White followed a removal company near Nottingham. You know, you're like, this is how desperate fans are for signings. Like,
It's happening.
My God, it's happening. The removal company has been followed.
But you know what's mad as well, right? Why do players keep making gentlemen's agreements with clubs? It is utter nonsense. It is nonsense because it's never ever happened. How many times do we see it? Oh, it's a gentleman's agreement, you can leave. And how many times does that actually happen without any issues? Never. Why do players keep doing this? Oh, we got this gentleman's agreement. It's one of the one of the biggest things in football that's just utter nonsense. Stop making a gentleman's agreement. No one honours it.
Especially when players have got release clauses that they can use as part of their negotiations. And it wasn't that long ago that he signed the deal. So, like, he could have quite easily put a release clause in that contract. How many times have we seen? And we've seen with Forest, with Wolfie. Obviously, Wolfie it should be back on in a bit. But Morgan Gibbs White, that's a perfect example. He wanted to leave. He had a release clause there. They fought to make sure that he didn't go to Tottenham. They've signed him a new deal, and it's not been said, but there's likely to be something in his contract that says if Tottenham or another club come in next summer, Champions League club, whatever, and Forest aren't in those competitions, then he can leave. That's the way that it needs to be done, not removing everything off your social medias. Because you're right, Charlie. That means and does absolutely nothing to the whole situation. And if you're an owner and you see a player do that, you are going to add an extra 10 million to his value because you can.
But you know what's funny as well, right? As fans, that if you've got a player doing that, you hate it, and rightfully so. But then on the other side, if there's another player doing it, and you're signing that player, fans are loving it. There's such a hypocrisy in what's at play here. If it's affecting your club, this guy's this, he's that, or whatever. But if a players that you want to sign is doing it, everyone's loving it. Like it's mental.
It is, and to go along with that, we'll get this conversation out because it no doubt come out about it at some point. And Charlie, you've talked about Isak a little bit. We'll get your thoughts on it as well. But Saba, we've not had your perspective on this. Certainly not on Loaded Mag NUFC either. But what do you make of the Isak situation and his behaviour over the course of the summer? How do you see it going with 2 weeks or 13 days, as you mentioned earlier, to go in this window? Do you see him making that move to Liverpool? Like, what's your perspective on it?
Look, I think there's two ways of looking at it, right? When you're trying to buy a player, right, as fans, we always go, well, if that player really wanted to join us, they'd do all they can to force their way out. They'd hand in a transfer request. They clearly don't want us enough. I don't want him now because he doesn't want. When it's our player, oh, he's unprofessional. We hate him. He's terrible. So I do feel there's a bit of give and take. Do I think he's handled it brilliantly? No. Is that him? Is this his agent? I don't know anything about his agent, by the way. Is this his agent giving him bad information? Is it the people he surrounds himself with? Listen, if he gets the move to Liverpool in the end, he won't care. If he gets the move for himself, none of this will matter to anyone other than the Newcastle fans. The Liverpool fans don't care. The Newcastle fans will care. And Isak won't. For me, where I worry for Newcastle and for Isak as well, I don't feel sorry for him, by the way, multi-millionaire footballer. I don't feel sorry for him, but is if he doesn't get that move, guys, now he is at Newcastle. Now you've got to start mending. Do you know what I mean? You've got to start building bridges and start repairing relationships. Now does that affect Newcastle in the first 5-10 games? Because we kind of had this, not to the same extent, but we kind of had this with Kane when the move didn't materialise to Man City. And we didn't have Harry Kane for I think it was only 3 or 4 games, but Harry Kane is Harry Kane. Like, I'd rather have him for 3 or 4 games scoring goals than not. So I think it's going to be interesting. If he goes, I think fair play. He goes and you get the money and you guys have got to go big. If he stays, he's got to build relationships. And I'd be more interested to know from you boys how, is he going to be embraced, that you're going to remember the quality of the player he is, or is it going to be kind of stay away over there because of how you've treated us? It's more about you lot as Newcastle fans, right?
But I reckon though, Sava, when you've got an asset that big, you cannot let them just sit and play no football. Even as fans, right? If you think, I hate this guy, he's done this and that, let him rot in the reserves. That's not actually a viable option for a player of Alexander Isak's caliber. If you do that, you're just, those questions are keep circling and more media attention round and round the clock. Oh, when's he going to come back? When's he going to come back? Like, Newcastle will have to, whether they want to, whether it's the right thing to do, they will have to try and build bridges with Isak and have to get some sort of involvement out of him if he remains beyond the end of this window.
It'd be the other way, Charlie. And that's Chris, you might have a different opinion on this, but for me, I see it the other way. This isn't Newcastle United building bridges with Isak. He has to do it with us. He's the one that's behaved in this way. He's the one that's isolated himself from the rest of his teammates, not speaking to them, not communicating with them, not wanting to train with them, not wanting to play matches with them. He's the one that's done that. The team, and as we saw on Saturday, the team look, in my opinion, as together than ever. But
it's got a big Isak hole shape up top.
And but in terms of performance, Saba, absolutely. Like we were missing that.
You were good. You were good.
But as a team, and as a unit, they look as together and as committed to each other. We saw that on the pitch. So he has to come back in. But like that's Chris, I don't know if you got a perspective on that.
Well, look, we're talking about Eze earlier. Look at the example he's doing. He played for Crystal Palace in the Community Shield. He scored. Maybe we'll get to that as well, Charlie. When it wasn't counted as well. And he's training and still training with Palace, even though all along there's been talk of him going to Spurs. But Isak has to come back and bend the knee to the fans. He has to come back and apologise to Eddie Howe, apologise to his teammates, and then come to the fans. We kind of debated this, whether he would come out with in a written statement is no good, whether he would come out and address the fans some way. But at the same time, I can't see that happening.
Yeah, but on that though, Daz, I think if he does stay, I think he has to do that. I don't think there can be. I don't think there can be a choice of whether you do it or not. Like, given the way that he's acted, whether it's on his accord, whether he's been very badly advised, I think there's a bit of both. I think nowadays you see a lot of footballers advised very, very badly. But if he ends up staying, you can't just sweep that situation under the carpet. The club, he'll have to be told that you need to face up to the cameras and you need to explain what's gone on here and why you've acted how you've acted. And then only then, whether fans want to believe him or whether fans want to forgive him, at least there'd be a reason. And he's come out and he's given his side of the story. Right now, as far as I can see, we've heard nothing from him at all in regards to the whole situation. So if he ends up staying, it's a non-negotiable. He has to sit down and do an interview, whether it's with in-house club television or whatever it is. He needs to sit down and explain his side of the story. And apologise. And only then can you really start to move forward if he stays. For me, that's a non-negotiable. That has to happen.
And you know what, Charlie?
The other thing
oh, sorry, I was just going to say that's an interesting point.
One last point. The other thing he has to do, just for appearance sakes alone, he has to sack the agent and be seen to kind of throw the agent under the bus a bit. So then it deflects off him and it puts it more back on the agent. But yeah, he's got some groveling to do for sure. Sorry, Chris.
Yeah, no. I was just agreeing with Charlie's point, because we discussed this in length, didn't we, boys? And for me, Charlie, I agree with you. I think the one saving grace that Isak has got is the fact that he hasn't said anything publicly. That's the one thing he hasn't done. He's done everything else bar say anything publicly and hand in a transfer request. Now, we all know as fans, and down to his behaviour, we know that he wants out. We know he wants to join Liverpool, and we know that he's doing everything he possibly can, which doesn't hurt him in the pocket, to try and get that deal over the line. But because he hasn't said anything publicly, I think if he does come back into the fray, I think, well, it wouldn't surprise me if the club made him do it, or if he is advised to do it in order to kind of break his silence and explain what's happened. Now, for me, he can't come out and say, "Oh no, it was all just it was all just rumours. I didn't want to leave." He can't say that, because obviously what his actions don't demonstrate that. But what he can do is put his hands up and say, that he's made a mistake. He's very sorry. He's committed to the club. He wants to put it all behind him, etc., etc. Even if we don't necessarily believe him, and even though we know that there's probably a strong chance that if he does come back into the fold, we'll give him a huge pay rise, and we will insert a clause into his contract, which will be probably activated next summer. But I do believe, I agree with you, Charlie, I do believe that he does have to come out and say something, because if he doesn't do that, I wonder what will happen when he does enter the pitch. Because if he doesn't say anything and he doesn't, apologise for his actions at the very least, it's going to be difficult for the fans to get back on side with him. Very, very difficult.
Well, he's going to have to, because if he comes back into the fold, right, at some point he's going to be put forward for media. If he's playing games and he said nothing, he's obviously going to be put forward for interviews and put forward for media. And if he said nothing, all the questions are going to be about that, and it's a massive distraction you don't need.
We all agree that he needs to publicly come out and say something. I think we all agreed on that, but I was different in that I don't think he will. I don't think
he will either.
I think, look, I could be wrong. This is just me thinking about this whole situation. We hear lots of rumors and different directions that this is going in all the time. But for me, I feel like he's doubled and tripled down a few weeks ago, thinking he was going to get this deal. And now I think he's stuck. I think he's stuck in a position where he doesn't want to step back in. I think if you're Isak at this point, you'd be embarrassed at your behavior. And you'd be embarrassed because this is not, oh poor Isak, let's give him that move. Liverpool fans are saying that because they're desperate for the player. You can understand why they're saying that. But nobody else in football feels sorry for him. Everybody in football is now pointing the finger, quite rightly, at Alexander Isak because of how he's behaved. And when you've got pundits, when you've got ex-players, when you've got people in the game, directly in the game, that are pointing the finger at him and saying his actions are unacceptable for a footballer to be able to do this to a club, right? He will see this. His reputation's in the mud right now. And I think he's at a position where he doesn't know how he's going to get himself out of this. So it wouldn't surprise me if he even triples down within the next week to try and get a move out and the small movement on the back of it, because that's the only way he'll save any sort of face and not have to face the music. I don't think he'll want to come out and say something, but I think you're right. He might well be forced to do that. And Chris, you made a point in that, he's going to have to come out and say something before he steps back on the pitch. The fans are going to tell him what they think of him regardless.
Yeah,
they're going to say exactly what they think of him regardless. And it will continue to do that until he's banged in enough goals and won us enough games where we go, okay, we've shown our dislike enough.
The whole thing is impacting the season, though. As Sava said, when Spurs missed Kane for a few games, it's impacting the season already. It's maybe cost you 2 points against Aston Villa. It might cost you points against Liverpool. It might cost you points in the next game. Or for as long as he's still here and the situation's not resolved, I don't know how it's affecting your pursuit of other forwards. We obviously know Visser now, the situation's changed again. Brentford are now suddenly demanding silly money again. Even if you get Visser, you still need another one on top of that. Visser wouldn't be an Isak replacement. So the Visser thing's almost separate. But what's going on in terms of pursuits of other players? Because, we heard something from Ornstein about Samu, but that seems to have gone pretty quiet from, you might know better than me, from what I've seen.
He got injured, I think. Was it yesterday, last night?
And so, what's going on in terms of the search for replacements as well?
Well, to be fair, we've turned this into put a load of transfer show now, so we can start talking about it. But the situation is, and what it sounds like, and we can only go off what reports are, is it looks like there was a list for Isak replacements and there was a list for Callum Wilson replacements. It seems like that list has got so small now, it's become one. And you've got players in that pool that would be considered Wilson replacements and a small amount that would be considered Isak replacements. And that's where we are. So we've got the likes of Gonzalo Ramos, you've got the likes of Ollie Watkins, you've got the likes of Samu Aghawa, you've got the likes
Nicholas
of
Jackson.
Gotta get
Yes,
that in there, Charlie.
Not for 80 million, Charlie. Not for 80 million.
No, not for 80 million, but he's on the list, though.
he is on the list.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It is.
You've got Jorgen Strand-Larsen,
Yeah.
who was linked by David Ornstein today, and you've got Jan Wieser, and there might be one or two more that have been tentatively spoken about. So you've got a small list there that we're working from, and in that list, being honest with the names that I've just said, who is in there that could genuinely replace Alexander Isak? And look, not replace him like for like, because there's no one like him in world football, which is why he's so unique.
There's not many getting close in that list, in my opinion.
Well, there you go. And that's the problem. That's the issue that Newcastle United have got, is that the ones that would have been that direct replacement were João Pedro. Thank you, Charlie. You got Hugo Ekitike. Thank you, Liverpool. And you've got Benjamin Sesko. Thank you, Man United. They're the ones that would have been allowing Alexander Isak to get his move. And all of them have been snapped up. So it's not like we haven't tried to get that sort of player. But now, with 13 days left, and Sava mentioned it a minute ago, 13 days left in the window, can you genuinely see Newcastle United getting not one, but two strikers to come in to allow that move to happen?
No, I can't see it happening. I mean, obviously, you never know what's going to happen in football. Like, anything can happen in the window. But with a deal of this magnitude, right, of Isak, like, Newcastle got serious business that they need to go and do. And I'm sure they're doing some form of negotiations and whatnot. But you're right, though, Pete. Like, if Isak leaves and you sign Samu and Visser, for example, which is plausible. I'm not saying it's going to happen, but it's feasible that could happen. That's the greatest. That's significantly weaker. You're never going to replace Isak and what he does, but Visser and Samu would be. That's not doing it.
That'd be brilliant, though. Now, from where we are now,
from where you are now, yeah.
Why? Not sorry, but if I can jump in, not doing what, Charlie? Because the problem is this is. Sorry to link this back to Spurs, but this is kind of like when we lost Kane. You know, we're not replacing Kane with another Kane. You're just not. Clubs like Spurs, we make Kanes. We don't buy Kanes, right? We haven't got that pull to go and buy a Harry Kane. So what you've got to do is when that player leaves is, can you spread the load? Do you know what I mean? Can you spread the goals? If they've got 15 league goals, 16 league goals from Wissa, 12, 13 coming from Samu, you've replaced Alexander Isak's goals, right? You've not got the individual brilliance of the man, but how do you... I think those two would be good signings for Newcastle, no?
No, they would be good. They would be good signings. No, you are right.
Can't all be Chelsea.
No,
you can't all be Chelsea, mate.
No, you have got
98 signings.
But you have got to switch the approach. You're spot on. You do have to switch the approach. You've got to realise you're not going to get one. You're not going to get a guy that's going to get that many goals. So you've got to find two players that between them can get you 25 or 30 goals, which obviously is easier said than done. But Visser, again, he got 19 league goals last season. I'm sure at Newcastle, if he goes there, he could get you 15, between 12 to 15. I think he could get you. And then if a Samu arrived, for example, you'd expect he could get 10. You'd imagine with the chance creation and stuff. But it's a difficult situation, and every day that passes by is another day where it's less and less likely for things to happen.
But you've explained the point in which where we're at Newcastle United, and me and Daz and Chris have talked about this as well, is that you're forgetting that Alexander Isak was doing it on his own last season.
Yeah,
and he got 24, 25 goals last season in all competitions. On his own, because Wilson was not available, and when he was, he just wasn't at the level required. Willisula, exactly the same, not at the level required. And so what you're saying there is that if a Johan Wieser comes in and gets 15 goals, if Samu, I think, can come in, just as an example here, he probably won't now. But if he came in, I'd be expecting him to get something similar, minimum 15 goals with his ability. And then what you're doing there is you're adding that together, 30 goal contributions. That is more than what Isak
Yeah.
or he's already
But
giving
even-
us. So that's what we have to look at now. Not
But-
like in quality, but
Agreed.
what we can accumulate out of the two that we are going to bring in.
I mean, even someone like a Meniz at Fulham. I know he's linked with Atalanta, and I think he wanted to go there. But that deal looks like it's maybe not happening now. But I mean, Rodrigo Meniz at Fulham, good player. You know, looking at those sorts of signings, that would be decent. I mean, I like Strand Larsen as well. Yes, okay, it's not the same. But if you've got Strand Larsen and Visser, for example, you get more. You get more goals than Isak scored last season. You'd like to think between those two. Yes, it's not the same level of quality as an Isak, but it could actually serve Newcastle better.
And that's where we're at. Is that we're looking at those two. But you're talking Strand Larsen today is being linked with the best part of 50 to 60 million. Like,
bro, that's the price these days.
And this is the thing.
minimum.
This is where Newcastle are at. Is that we've got 13 days in the window to go. We need 2 strikers. We don't have the money to spend 50, 60 million on 2 strikers. And you can say, oh, well, Isak will allow you to do that. We are not going to release Isak until we've got those players guaranteed through the door. But welcome Dan United into the chat. We're as you can imagine, we're talking Isak at the moment. But look, just genuinely around the table here or around the panel, who actually thinks that Isak's going to sign for Liverpool before the end of this window?
I think he will.
Yeah,
you think he will. So you're saying, well, okay, Daz, Savo.
I'm saying no. That
I don't think so.
So it's kind of to each on that. What reasons are there on either side of the coin?
I hope. My hope is that you guys stand strong and turn around to Liverpool and go, you want him, give us 150. No budging. Give us 150 million or don't pick up the phone.
That seems to be the standpoint right now from our owners.
That's what I would love to see you guys do. And I'll be honest, sorry, I know this probably isn't how you want to see it plan out. I want to see what happens to the footballer. Let's see the measure of the man. All right, you've sulked. You didn't get your move. The window's shut. What do? What do you do in a World Cup year? Are you going on hiatus, or are you begging? Are you borrowing? Are you pleading with your teammates? Are you writing letters of apologies to the fan? Are you buying Eddie Howe and his wife gifts to apologise for how bad you've been acting? I don't know. I'd love to see that. I would hate to think that Liverpool in this scenario win. I'd hate to think that they get him at the price they want him just because he sulked and done that. That's just me. Maybe I'm an arsehole. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Maybe, I don't know.
No, but it would be an interest. It would be
voice thoughts then, because Dan and Charlie, you were both the opposite side of the coin. Why do you think that it will be done?
It would be interesting to see what happens if he stays and how that whole situation pans out. That's arguably a bit more of a more exciting outcome purely from us like a media perspective. But I just think personally, for me, I just think there's too much water under the bridge and too much has happened for this deal not to happen. However, if it goes to the final week, which it looks like it will, what we're now Tuesday night, I didn't expect an awful lot of movement this week. We
played them on Monday.
Yeah, you've not got an awful lot of time left. So I do think it will happen. I do think some sort of arrangement will be reached. But again, Newcastle hold all the cards. You need to go and get another 2 forward players. So I do think it will happen, but there's also a good chance that it might not. But for me, I just think too much water under the bridge for this not to happen. That's kind of what I'm going with, really. It's not an awful lot of theory on that, but that's just my thoughts on it.
Dan, what's your standpoint on it?
We've seen it happen time and time and again, lads. Let's be honest. I get what Sav is saying, and in an ideal world, we'd love to see a footballer who's acted so pathetically, thrown his toys out the pram, not get what he wants. But unfortunately, this is the modern day. The days of clubs really holding power over players isn't there anymore. It isn't. So that's why, for me, I don't think anything happens before you play him. I genuinely don't.
No.
But I think after that, I think we see it ramp up. I just don't see a world where he stays there for two reasons. The first one, the guy doesn't want to stay there. You know my thoughts on it. Newcastle will be there long after this clown leaves. But the second thing is, it's just modern day football, Peter. It really is. I've lived it. I've seen my favourite players leave and go.
Wow.
You know, it's broke my heart. And unfortunately, this is the big one for you guys. But I just feel like as long as you get the money, let him go. Let him go. At the end of the day, you'll get your money back. I get it. It's not exactly ideal that we're on the 19th of August and you still haven't got a striker really at the moment. You've got the Visser problem, but for me, Visser's the same as Isak. I think he's acted horrifically.
Yeah.
I just feel like now you're just going to have to go out there and get somebody and get it done as soon as possible, because what you can't do is be in a scenario where you go, no, we're keeping him. It's not happening. And then Liverpool do come and they do pay the money, and then it's deadline day, and then you're in a situation like we were a few years ago where we're getting Cavani deadline day. We're getting, you don't want that deadline day scenario. So if I were you guys, I'd just go out there, you've got the pull. I genuinely think you've got the pull to get a decent striker. Obviously, you missed out on Sesko, but again, just go out there and replace this fool, because at the moment, this fool thinks he holds all the cards. And unfortunately, until you get rid of him, he is going to hold a black cloud over your club as long as he's there. The fans are going to be disruptive about him. The players, regardless of the fact that we heard that there was a little bit of arguing, it will create a horrific atmosphere. Trust me, my club's still got those people there creating that horrific atmosphere. You can only tell a guy too much. You can't train with us. You're this, that. He is still employed by the club. And I genuinely feel like if he was to apologise and say, oh, I'm sorry, I'm here for the badge, why would you as a fan base trust him not to do this? That's the modern day footballer. There is no loyalty, unfortunately.
No, we're not going to trust Anthony, Isak says, but these are the reasons why Isak won't go. One, we let Isak go. We have 0 strikers. Okay. 2, Liverpool won't bid 150 million.
Daz, quickly, how many strikers?
No, listen. I'm on 3. I'm on 3.
At the moment, you haven't got any
0 as well.
moment.
As 0 as well. Listen, 3. Callum Wilson waved goodbye the last day of the season. We still haven't replaced Callum Wilson. There's 13 days left in the window. And 4, we need to have 2 strikers and 150 million from Liverpool before we can sell it.
What I'm wondering,
how can that happen?
You can have no strikers regardless.
Yeah,
but
this is the point, though. You know that Isak's going to go, right? So why? Newcastle might be doing work, but this has been going on for weeks, months now. Why have Newcastle seemingly made no advancements of bringing any forwards in? Because as soon as you bring forwards in, you can then just deal with that situation. Right, we've got our players in. Liverpool come to the table with the money. He can go. Why have Newcastle made no effort, seemingly, or no progress to bring any players in?
No, you can't say that we haven't made effort to sign strikers.
Since Sesko, since that one. Recently, it doesn't seem to have been much movement in trying to find someone. Maybe that's just me from the outside looking in.
But is that, Charlie, because their fingers have been burnt with that? And that's not me being disrespectful to Newcastle. Is it because they put themselves out there thinking, right, we'll go get Sesko. This guy is the guy to take us forward. And their fingers have been burnt. Because the problem is at the moment, the striker that you guys want isn't available. The striker that you guys would absolutely adore isn't available. At the moment, you are now in last chance saloon. You are. The striker you get will never, ever have been your first choice. Will never, ever have been.
And that is part of the problem, Dan. You're absolutely right. Is that the guy that we actually want? You go through the list, start with João Pedro, then it was Hugo Ekitike, then it was Benjamin Sesko. We're already third.
Fourth or fifth choices now.
But yeah, exactly. But this is part of the problem, and it goes back to the point I mentioned at the beginning, maybe before Dan came on, is that those strikers now on that pool of list have merged from Wilson and Isak replacements to just one list. And the problem with that is that there's not many on that list that you would consider Isak replacements. Now, we're holding out for Weiser still. We know he wants Newcastle. We know he wants that move. We're willing to pay over that gentleman's agreement price. We've already bid over that. We're at 35 million currently. I think Newcastle are willing to go up to 40. It's the fact that now, in the last few days, they've gone to right. If we get our striker in, we'll let you have him. We'll release him. That 40 million deal will happen. Now they've turned around and gone, yeah, we want 60. And so
we had this problem with them. We had this problem with them.
And so it's not like we haven't tried to get that striker in. I think if we'd have had Risa in the door, I think it would have focused our attentions on what we've got left in terms of budget and what we can go and get. I think the problem is that Newcastle are doing this in terms of they want Wilson's replacement in first before they even look at Isak's replacement. And you know what? That's our right. As you boys have all said, you've given your opinions for and against, and I get both sides of the conversation, but the reality is he is still contracted to Newcastle United. Yeah. We shouldn't be running and going mad to get him out the door and get our striker in. We should be running and going mad to get Wilson's replacement.
Yeah, but you know what though? Like, just so quickly,
if he has to stay, he has to stay.
A Newcastle not getting to a point, slight desperation where you're almost like, we really need players in. Yes, Vissa is not worth £60 million, but we're at a point now where the clock's ticking. We've got no one. We're going to have to pay more than we ideally want to because we desperately need the players in.
But they tried to do that, Charlie. That's what with the greatest respect, they tried to do that with Sesko. Like they were open to paying more money.
It's even more now.
Go on, Sam. Can I play devil's advocate? Just because it's fun to play devil's advocate. Just because it's fun.
We do that a lot here. We do that.
Long time no see, Dan. How are you?
Chris is squash. So
I'm good. I'm good.
Yeah,
I feel like there's shade coming at my club.
Yeah, listen, mate, you've never supported Spurs. Don't worry about it. You don't know what that's like. Don't worry about that. I did some filming today. I can't tell you which company. I did some filming today. It was me against a Man City fan for an hour debating. Now that was tough, right? Imagine debating a Man City fan and I'm Spurs. Anyway, devil's advocate. Every day that ticks down right now, Newcastle are in control of Isak. Every day that ticks down, Liverpool are more and more, it's up to them to move heaven and earth to get him from you, right? And there might be a bit of your club, just playing devil's advocate, might be a bit of your club saying, well, hang on, whittle it down. And if he doesn't go, all right, we're going to have that awkward period. We're going to have that awkward few weeks where, oh my God, what do we do? And do the players hate him and do the fans hate him? But you know what? After that 2 weeks, we have still got Alexander Isak up front for Newcastle United, who is a world-class striker. So it's, for me, I think it's, deep in the devil blue sea, it's kind of, do you go through that bit of pain?
Yeah.
Because he won't not want to play and he's better than anything you're going to sign. I'm just devil's advocate.
He'll have to play. He will have to play. It's a World Cup year, and he can say, "Oh, I don't want to play for Newcastle ever again. I've made that choice." If he's still here come the end of the window, that choice will change very quickly, because he will, for his career and for the World Cup and whatnot, he will have to play. So he'll have to change his mindset.
You don't think the Sweden manager watches Newcastle's under-21s play?
No,
you don't think he watches Premier League 2?
But it was a stupid
get 100 goals, wouldn't he?
It's a stupid point that the agent or the player pushed out from David Ornstein. He would never play for us again, because if he stays beyond this window, he will play for Newcastle United again. Like, he has to.
Hey, can you think of any scenarios of other players where this has happened?
It was a stupid statement.
Wayne Rooney.
Wow.
Yeah, Rooney wanted to come Chelsea.
Rooney wanted to do Chelsea.
Okay, Steven Gerrard.
Yeah,
wanted to go.
Rooney handed an official transfer request, didn't he?
Right. So Steven Gerrard got effigies made about him and burnt out. So we can laugh now because it's years on.
He was in the car at Stamford Bridge about to sign, and he
Peter Odemwingie. He stayed and did the job, didn't he?
Yeah.
The Sky Sports News interview.
Harry Kane.
Yeah.
Harry Kane stayed and scored handfuls of goals.
Didn't Suarez do the same?
Suarez stayed. Suarez was going to leave one season before, but Liverpool said give us one more season, and he stayed.
So you boys have just given us a whole heap of examples of where it's happened to top players in this league before, and they've stayed, and then they've eventually got their move. That I'm not saying that will happen for Newcastle.
You know what you're in?
It could. What?
There's 5 stages, right, of grieving here. Denial,
I'm
anger,
not grieving,
bargaining, depression.
grieving.
I think come the 30th of August, I hope I don't see it, but I think you could be in the acceptance stage, buddy.
No, Dan, you're getting me all wrong because you've mentioned this before. Like, there's no grieving here. There was anger and frustration, particularly when he was behaving the way he was. I've got no issue with the fact that he wants to leave the club. To be fair, and Daz, we've reiterated this all the way through, particularly after the tour, that Newcastle fans want him gone. They want him out the club. We're not saying this because we want him to stay. This is not what this is about. But Newcastle United are doing it because they don't want to create a pathway where other players or other players that join us think that they can do this 2 years down the line, that they can behave like this and they can get away with it. For me, the way I see it right now, I think this is down purely the owners are digging their heels in. The owners are saying, no, the player is not dictating what they do at this football club. And they're saying if he can go, but he goes on our value. If he doesn't, he stays. And he stays a year and then he gets sold at that point. At least then, Newcastle United as the club hold the cards in terms of when he goes. It gives us a year to actually find that replacement that you boys have talked about. We can go scout, we can go look, we can go and identify that player for next summer, even if it's on a lesser fee. It doesn't matter. But what it does open up for us, and I think me and Daz and Chris certainly will be happy with this, is it opens up other clubs, not just in the Premier League, that he could potentially go to.
But also, Pete, it's really important Newcastle stay firm and don't look like they've caved in, because if they cave in, what example does that set to the other players? Like Anthony Gordon, I'm not saying these guys are going to do it, but Anthony Gordon, when he wants to push for a move, when Bruno Guimaraes wants to leave potentially, maybe when a Sven Botman wants to go, or whatever it is, or a Tonali, they've seen, okay, if we make a fuss, we can get away with that and we'll eventually get our move. So it's actually important they hold firm, not just because of the pride of the club and whatnot, but for what that sets for future players down the line, future big players who may also move on.
Can I ask a question? Can I ask a question to the Newcastle fans and to you, Pete and Daz? In fact, to the panel, can Isak win a Premier League with Newcastle?
No.
Can he win a Champions League with Newcastle?
No, not this season.
This season, maybe. You got to be ready to win it.
I hope he goes to Liverpool and they absolutely flop. I think that would be hilarious. If he went to Liverpool,
do you see what I'm saying, though? Do you see what I'm saying? That's why.
Listen, Dan, my stance on this, as I said from the get-go, and this is nothing against Newcastle. I'm aware I'm on a Newcastle podcast, right? But I'll always be truthful. I don't think the issue is here that he wants to leave Newcastle.
It's not,
right?
It's not.
That's not the issue. Players leave all the time. And when fans get really, really upset and hurt, come on, deal with it. Swallow that feeling. It's fine. Players leave. Roy Keane hit the nail on the head on Sunday. There is a food chain. I know where Spurs are in the food chain. These guys, I'm sure, know where Newcastle are. Even for clubs like Man United and Liverpool, they know where they are in the food chain when it comes to Real Madrid. There is a food chain, right? The way that, tell me if I'm wrong, guys. The problem here is the way that Isak has gone about this.
Yeah, of course.
Isak had turned around to the Newcastle owners and said, look, guys, I'm going to be brutally honest, right? I will do, while I'm playing for Newcastle United, I'm going to give you everything. I'm going to give you my best. But it is my dream to go and play for Liverpool. Please, can you make that happen? I will give my best. I will start the season with you, whatever. Please, can you make that happen? Right? I think that goes a long way to the club turning around and going, do you know what? We don't want to lose you, but this is the bid. If it comes in at I don't know, I'm just spitballing, 120, whatever it is, then you can go. Then it's down to Isak's agent to get that instruction and go to Liverpool's representatives and go, they're not happy about it, but they will let him go if you do X, Y, Z.
Sava,
But
where have we seen that before?
Look,
Cristiano Ronaldo.
No, sure, but
Yeah.
what he actually has done is turn around and go, see you later, everyone. He's thrown Newcastle's pre-season. Right? I know it doesn't necessarily matter about, but you've gone the whole pre-season with no striker. You're in limbo with trying to sign players that they don't know what's going on or not. For me, there's a way to go about it. Hand in a transfer request, right? Sure, hand in a transfer request if it's absolutely warranted. Liverpool coming in for you should be a celebratory time, not a let's throw my toys out the pram and hand in a transfer request time for me. Hand in a transfer request when your manager doesn't play you. Hand in a transfer request when you've had a public spat with your manager and you've fallen out and it's all gone tits up. Don't hand in a transfer request just because you're throwing your toys out the pram. I don't like it. But he won't be. He's not the first, and he won't be the last man.
But Sava, you're right on that, though, isn't it? You are right on that. Just real quickly, you are right on that. It's not just about the way that he's acted and whatnot. It's also the fact he's completely, as you say, Sava, disrupted everything from Newcastle from pre-season through to the start of the season, and he will continue to do that until the transfer window's closed and until there's some sort of resolution. So this is not just, oh, this player's behaved badly, he wants to move, and it's this and that. He's disrupted the entire preparations for the season and the start of the season as well.
I personally just want to see him go there for one reason, just to see Joe Linton chasing around a football pitch. I think that would be comedy gold. I honestly, I think Joe Linton would end up in the cells for the night.
Do you know what? It's a real shame. Part of me thinks it's a real shame that this move's not happened and his first game for Liverpool's at St James's. So there's a real shame it's not going to happen, but yeah.
Imagine.
Either way, guys, it's too late now for this move to happen. For me, it's too late. There's nothing left on the shelves in the supermarket for us.
It's never too late.
No, it is too late because
I get why you're saying that, but it's not too late. It's not. You've set a price. You've set a price. You've told the world what your price is. We know it's 150.
We have, but the club hasn't.
No, but if they come in and do the unthinkable, put 150 down. Well, then you're foolish to turn that down.
No, I don't think we would. I don't think we would turn it down because that's what we. I genuinely think that they would accept it. I think they would go in and get 2 Wilson replacement like strikers and they'd move him on. But I'm not convinced Liverpool are going to put. I think Liverpool will put another bid in. Yeah, but I don't think it will be what. Newcastle.
It won't be 150, but what I'm saying is Liverpool have got the money to finance this deal, which they obviously do because they want to do it. So they must have the finances to do it or to get very close. My point would be is why have they not put a second bid in already? Why are they not just getting this deal wrapped up?
I think they're waiting for the game, Charlie. I think they'll wait. Honestly, I think they'll wait until after the game.
I reckon you're right, man. I reckon you'll see late Monday night after the game or some point on Tuesday, 100%. You'll get a report a second bid.
Is that not a way to try and unsettle a club you're about to play? Banging a bid in an hour before the game, releasing
Have you not seen that Newcastle have already spoken to Liverpool because of the stuff they've been putting out through Ornstein and Fab? This is why you're not seeing those constant everyday tweets, updates, all the rest of it, is because Newcastle have said, sort your shit out, stop throwing all this rubbish in the media. And since that point, there's been hardly anything on Alexander Isak. So I don't think Liverpool will do that because I think Liverpool will want to toe the line because they'll want to still be in a position to sign him.
In an ideal world, if you could get away with it, I'd sign 2 strikers and still reject the bid and leave them in the fucking reserves. That's what if there was an ideal world where you could do that, I would sign you 2 replacements and say, by the way, you ain't going anywhere, mate. You'll stay in the reserves for a year now. I didn't give my thoughts because we will move on. I want to speak about Man United and Chelsea as well, but I would Daz will know because I said this on Sunday in our match reaction. What Sava said in terms of the situation is exactly how I feel. I want Alexander Isak to squirm. I want him to be in a position where he goes onto that pitch and he hears the roar and the disapproval of the Newcastle United fans. I think we have a right to be able to voice our opinions. He needs to know that we're not happy
with how he's treated, not just the fans, but the club, the players, everything else on the back of that. I think a player does need to feel and see that up close and personal.
But Pete,
that's just my personal opinion. That's what I want to see. Whether it happens or not is a different thing, but that's where I am right now. And I think a lot of Newcastle United fans are not hoping that he doesn't move because they're so desperate to keep him. It's not like that. It's gone way past that point now. Newcastle United fans want him to stay because they don't want him to get his own way after the way he's acted, and they want to be able to show their disapproval of his behaviour.
Is there no player there at Liverpool that could be chucked in like a Harvey Elliott or something? Would you be happy with that?
We've already signed. Everywhere else in the squad is pretty much every area of the pitch, apart from a striker, has been improved. Like if we hadn't signed Elanga and we still needed a right winger, I think Harvey Elliott would possibly have been part of the conversation. Maybe not directly involved in the deal, but certainly like we sell Isak and we get Harvey Elliott for a certain fee. But in those positions now, we don't necessarily need anybody in there. We've sorted out the centre-back position. The goalkeeper position's done. The midfield position with Ramsey coming in is sorted. Elanga's sorted at right wing. It's only the striker's position now, really, as priority that needs to be done. So I don't think there's anyone. Daz, you might feel differently. I don't think there's anyone that they could throw in that could even allow this to happen.
What about the keeper? What about the keeper Liverpool signed? What was his name?
Mamardashvili. Well, we've got Ramsdale now, and we've got Pope.
And look, another thing, Dan.
I'm not laughing at you, mate. I've got Binder starting for me, so I'm certainly not laughing at you with that one, mate.
Another thing, Dan. Last time you tried to convince us to on last season's top tip, like you tried to convince us to get rid of Eddie Howe, and look how that turned out. So if we keep Isak, you never know. There could be more silverware coming to Newcastle.
A nice way to finish on that. But Dan, I want to give Charlie a chance to breathe, because we did press him a lot on 12th man yesterday. He had a bit of a hounding. So we'll come to Chelsea. I've got a question for Charlie next, but we haven't heard a Man United perspective, and I know you weren't best pleased about some of the comments around Man United yesterday.
It just makes me laugh. Like, United are in such a mess, yet on football's 12th man, 20 minutes of you was about United, and I just find it hilarious. Like,
I did
considering we are so bad, considering we are in the mud, we're still spoke about so much. Like, I think I had to voice note Wolfie last night. I was like, you're taking the piss, mate. Because how dare you say that I am just trying to get a react? I'm trying to get attention by commenting in a chat that I can't go on the show and defend myself. I was he actually, and if he's watching, he rang me last night afterwards. I was like, oh, bro. Anyway, I'm not over the moon. I'm happy. And I'm happy for a few reasons. Because I think we saw a different side of Manchester United on Sunday. Of course we want the win. No one's happy losing. But what I'm saying is, I think I was so happy to see Brian and Mbeumo and Cunha play. And actually, there's one player on that United team that if they do sign a midfielder, I think needs to really start worrying. And that's Bruno Fernandes. Because Cunha and Brian and Mbeumo in that 10, I thought they were incredible. I thought they were stunning. I don't think. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say Manchester United are back, because we're nowhere near back. We've still not got a goalkeeper. We've still not got a central midfielder. But the game against Fulham, I think, is probably his most important game of his managerial career, because we put in a decent performance. I thought outplayed Arsenal in certain spells. If we go to Fulham and lose, well, then it's just nothing's changed. I've got excited for nothing, but I think other than the goalkeeper on Sunday, I thought United were there. I genuinely did. I think he got it wrong starting with the front three. And I said to everybody that would listen, I said he'd do that. Nobody listened. Everyone said, nah, Sesko will start. I knew he wouldn't start. But I think there's a lot more positives after this game than what I've been used to. I thought the transition was a lot better, considering we had Casemiro start, who's 192 years old. I thought it was okay. I think United now just literally need to try their best to get a midfielder in. The goalkeeper situation, I don't see us getting a goalkeeper. I think it's too far gone with that. We had the option to get that Le Mans from Royal Antwerp, I quite like, but for 15 million, if we were going to get him, we'd have got him ages ago.
How much?
15 million, mate. That's all he is. It's a steal. It's a steal. So it's I think there's a fine line between rival fans thinking that we're deluded because we're happy with what we saw. We're not happy with the result, but I think we've seen a difference in the way that they play that we've not seen since he's been there. We've seen so much bad players playing for United, and it just last season I needed therapy. It was horrendous. But
I mean,
I've said from the start of the transfer window, and I will say it now. European football is the target. I don't care how we get it. European football, and then we move on to the next step, which is sorting out the rest of the team. We were never ever going to be able to sort the whole team out in one transfer window, and it needed it. Let's be honest. I don't think anyone on this panel can sit here and say that you'd have had any of the United players in your squads last season. Not first 11 squads.
Right.
So
we've been saying this for 6 months, Dan. We've been talking about this for 6 months. Go on, Charlie. What were you going to say?
I was going to say it's United obviously improved from what we used to seeing from them. But it's part of the reason why United fans are happy with that performance and not getting carried away, but are like maybe feeling a bit optimistic, is because the bar has been so low on the floor, what you have seen. So when you see anything resembling any sort of coherent patterns of play and whatnot, there's like a bit of an excitement. Or is that disingenuous? I
disagree. Yeah? And I don't disagree saying you're wrong in saying that. What I mean is, Manchester United got away with this false position for the last 3 seasons. Manchester United have been appalling for a long time, but for some reason we've been able to sort out a cup here and there. Pete will back me up on this, and Charlie might have been on the stream back then. I called this after the FA Cup final. I said, United, that is as good as it's going to get. We are going to absolutely fall to our knees now. And I was told, nah, you're being pessimistic, you're being ridiculous. You know, you've just won the FA Cup, everything's. It wasn't okay. In a cup competition, you've got to be good for 90 minutes. In a league position, in a league system, you have to be consistent. United couldn't even win 2 games in a row last season. That has to be the first step, you know. And as silly as it sounds, my next focus now is we have to beat Fulham, we have to beat Burnley. Then we move on from that. And I'm not stupid enough to sit here and say to you all that if Amorim doesn't beat Fulham on Sunday and we're struggling against Burnley and then it's City and Chelsea, what questions will be asked? They'll have to be asked.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sava, your thoughts on Man United? Should Dan be enthused by what he saw? I don't know if you watched the game against Arsenal. Is there still question marks there? What's your thoughts, mate?
Look, obviously there's going to be question marks there, but they were much the better team, weren't they? It's going to sound weird coming from a Spurs fan, but as a football fan, I was really disappointed with Arsenal. Like, as a Spurs fan, it's cool, right? I like to see it, but they looked all over the place. I thought they looked. Look, they're good at the back, aren't they? We know their back four is solid. Yeah, I thought midfield and going forward, I thought they looked absolutely clueless. Man United, for me, from pillar to post, were the better team, hungrier for the ball, created more chances. Look, I mean, in an ideal world, I'm guessing Ruben Amorim wouldn't have wanted Arsenal in the first game of the season. He probably would have liked a Burnley at home to kind of get the 3 points rolling. But I think from what they saw, this might not be a lot of solace to the United fans because of what happened last year. But from what they saw, it was 10 times better than last season. You can see there's a shape. You can see there's a plan. But I think Dan hit the nail on the head. This Man United team, for me, first of all, you've got to get a man in goal. Because that goalkeeper just looked like a scared little boy flapping at the ball. You need a leader in goal, and you need a midfielder with legs. If you're going to play Bruno, and he's going to be one of those two, the man next to him needs to be N'Golo Kante-esque.
Mate, he needs to have Mo Farah stamina.
That's why they went for That's why they wanted Baleba, Sava, because they need that other player.
What's happened with Kobe Minu?
Exactly.
What's going on with him?
He don't suit the system.
So
I don't think the gaffer likes him. I don't think the gaffer likes him. But the problem is, if he didn't like him, and we've been good at saying players we don't want them this season, why didn't he just do that? Because I actually thought on Sunday Kobe Mainoo would have done better in that midfield. I think he is a lot better on the ball. Ugarte to come on in front of him. Ugarte is one of the worst midfielders I've seen in the Premier League. He's horrendous. And you know something? The other side of it is, and what Sava said there is completely right. But I'll disagree on something. Do you know something, Sava? I wanted the tough start because the last thing I wanted was us to play 5, lower teams, us win, and everyone go, that's it, now United are back, then play a top team.
But do you know what I mean? Guessing I'm talking about more for Ruben Amorim.
Yeah, fair.
But I agree with you. Your next league game away at Fulham, right?
That's tough.
It now becomes the game of, hang on, if we lose 2 in a row at the beginning of the season, it's going to be mad. But I think you could be really encouraged. Cunha and Mbeumo, really, really good signings. I think once Sesko gets up there and they can actually start forming a bond that free, Bruno will always give you goals, always give you assists. I think you can get away with 2 more signings.
I agree.
It's got to be a goalkeeper and it's got to be a centre mid.
I agree.
And then you're playing once a week. You can rest them all during the week. Listen, I know it's easy for me to sit and say, as watching you lose, to say it was a good performance, but I thought Arsenal were dreadful. I'm not being a salty Spurs fan, because when they play well, I will say it. I feel like they're going backwards in their play.
Yeah, I agree.
I feel like they're going so far backwards. They've got no fluidity. And don't get me started on Saka. Another game where I watch Saka and go, what do you do? But hey, that'll get me in trouble with the Arsenal fans. So
they won't win games like that, Saba. They won't. The way they won on Sunday, they won't get away with that all season.
No, of course they won't.
Because if this was 3 weeks down the line and they were going to Old Trafford, Man United would have won that game.
Yeah,
it's only because
I agree with that.
It's only the first game. It's only because it's the first game of the season. But Saba, you're absolutely right, and because so many people have said it, like for all of last season, you're just seeing the same old for them. They don't look like they've changed at all, and they've just added a £70 million striker that they've been courting for the last 2 years.
You know what?
They finally added that, and they still look exactly.
They'll be up there again. They'll be up there again because the one thing they have got, they are solid at the back, right? And with Declan Rice. And Zubimendi will grow into the league, but with Declan Rice in the midfield, they have got Declan Rice is everything that Man United need in central midfield alongside Bruno Fernandes.
Let him cook.
That is exactly what Man United need, and that is why Arsenal, from David Raya will probably win the Golden Glove or whatever it's called these days because they are solid at the back, but. I'm waiting. I'm just waiting for this Arsenal meltdown. I'm waiting for this Arsenal meltdown.
It's coming.
I can't wait for it.
It's never a season without it.
The first Arsenal meltdown will be the moment we get the here we go for Eze to Tottenham Hotspur.
It's already started.
They've already given. So Eze is going to go Tottenham, and then Arsenal's response to that is a new contract for Trossard.
Yeah. See that.
No.
Somebody said to me today,
he's been sold. If they signed him a new contract,
no. It's a pay rise, isn't it? Same terms. Same contract. Increased terms.
Somebody said to me today, right? And bearing in mind, listen, I know my place in the football food chain. Someone said today, if we get Eze, and it's always if, because I've sat here this season and gone, God, we've got Gibbs White, and that didn't work. If we sign Eze, like it will be for literally the same price that they paid for Madueke. Like, I need this in my life so much. I need this. I need this Eze.
But this is the thing, though, Sabra. Like, I don't look at that forward line and think it screams out consistency. Like, Gyökeres relies on service. Gyökeres isn't the guy that will create it all himself. And on Sunday, he was starved. Like, when they went 1-0 up, I didn't sit there and go, oh, this is going to be 3 or 4. I genuinely, and I can say this, I mean this, I wasn't worried with their attack. Like, all I could think about was, we'll get a goal here. The next goal's United. I didn't sit there and go, Arsenal are going to absolutely tonk us. I just didn't feel it. And I think if Arsenal this season, it goes without saying, the pressure is on that team, on that fan base, on the manager. Arsenal are under the most pressure. And Sava, I think on Sunday I think the pressure was on Arsenal over United. Arsenal had to win on Sunday, because if they didn't win, that's 3 points behind Liverpool, 3 points behind City straight away.
And Spurs, we're in a title race.
And Spurs, of course.
And just kidding. I'm just kidding. But the thing is as well, a lot of this goes down for me as well, and I don't want to stick up for Arsenal here. They should be getting, like, the main signing is Gyökeres.
Yeah.
That guy is the one you get through the door first, and let him in pre-season have 5 or 6 games with his teammates so that you've got that fluid link. In a way, kind of like United with Sesko, it's kind of like he's come in not ready for the first game of the season for whatever reason. This is why I never like signings. Like right now, I wanted Eze in for Saturday. Now, we can get away with it, Burnley at home. No disrespect to Burnley. But you guys, first game, you would have loved to have started with Sesko because he's had 3 or 4 games in the team, So I do think Gyökeres will score goals, by the way. I know everyone's jumping on this bandwagon of me. I think he will score goals.
Yeah.
He's a goal scorer.
He's a striker. He's a finisher. He's an absolute finisher.
Definitely.
So, look, we'll see. But listen, Arsenal, for me, Dan, you're absolutely right. You've had, they've had 3 years of finishing second, right? Am I right in saying that?
Yeah, they've got worse every year.
Yeah.
Right, sure. But 3 years of finishing second is exactly what I said to the Arsenal fans last year, and they called me a salty Spurs fan. I'm not. But from second, you have 1 place to go to improve, but 18 places to drop to go worse, right? They've got 1 place is what they've had to make up for 3 years. And I get it. When City were in their pomp, right? I get it. It's 1 place, but it's a big jump because City are epic.
Last season was a big one.
Had the drop-off that they had last year, that's where it should have been. Right, Arsenal, go on then. You finished second for the last 2 years. That's your title. That's you.
That was their chance, Saba. That was the one for me. Like that was the one where.
But the problem they've had is they've sorted a problem out they should have sorted 2 years ago. Now they should have been sorting the problems out to bring themselves even further forward. Now they're trying to sort a few more problems out, and it's left them in an absolute ridiculous spot because, as I said, Arsenal can't do a thing here now. Arsenal won't do a thing here. Arsenal won't win the Premier League. Arsenal won't win a cup.
Yeah, I agree, but I do want to touch on, because I know we're going to wrap up in a minute. Charlie and Chelsea. We've talked about, are they going to win the league, be in the title race, expectations. You've been hammered on that, but you talked about you still feel that you have positions that you need to fill before the end of the window. My question to you, Charlie, is, are you going to do that business? You've already spent a lot of money. Yes, you've brought in a lot of money as well, but are you going to invest again? Centre-back, goalkeeper, and what else? What other position?
Well, we'll sign Xavi Simons and we'll probably end up signing Garnacho. In terms of getting a centre-back and a goalkeeper, we're not going to get a goalkeeper. I think we can comfortably box that one away. That's not going to happen this summer. Centre-back, potentially. I think the manager wants one. The manager's made it clear he wants one. Whether the club can go and find him, whether they can find one that fits what we're looking for, let's wait and see. But the 2 bits of business that I'm pretty certain will definitely happen are Simons and Garnacho. As for the other positions, I can't really say.
Why do you guys want this fucking fool? Why do you want this?
But we won't pay 50 million for him. So unless United accepts our demands,
do you know something? This goes back to Manchester United. If they're not going to get the 50 because of his wages, I would absolutely keep this fool in the reserves. I would say, I would absolutely say, we don't need to worry about selling him.
But that is
United. And Charlie, I'll tell you this as well. You sign him, he won't be at your club in 2 years.
Probably not, no. But you sign him for say 30 million, and the wages aren't ridiculous. Yeah. You get your money back minimum in 2 years. We certainly would.
United's only income this summer has been from players that haven't played for us for over 18 months.
Yeah. But that's what the point goes back to. Why is that guy still at United now? Why is he still there?
Which one?
Garnacho. Why is Garnacho still there? Why is Anthony still there? Why are they all still there?
Because we can't sell. And the reason we can't sell, I can't put that on Ineos. I can't put that on Barada.
It's the wages they're on, isn't it?
It's because of the wages they're on. And you know, people saying to me, "Oh, United are ridiculous. They can't." Who's going to like Sancho at the moment? At this point, it's just funny. Like, what does he want? Does he want to play for a top team, or does he want the money? Because if he wants the money, go to Turkey. They'll absolutely pay him that.
Yeah.
But in his eyes, he still sees himself as a top player. This guy is the worst signing. This is the worst Manchester United signing post Fergie.
Worse than Anthony.
Worse than Anthony.
Fair. We'll get Simmons. We'll get Simmons and Garnacho, but a goalkeeper's not going to happen, and a centre back is a maybe.
I'm with Dan on that. So go on. Sorry,
Mike Madigan is because you're not going back for him again.
Who? Manyan? No, I don't think so. That opportunity, I think, is gone. You know, we could have got him before the Club World Cup. We didn't, and all the reports are now saying we're not going to get a goalkeeper. So that's that.
See you all again. I've got to go, lads. I'll catch up with you soon. Sava, good to see you again, mate. I haven't seen you well. Take care.
Take care,
mate. Man United is live at 9 o'clock, so make sure you tune into that.
We'll concentrate on our grief as well. We'll go through the 5 stages, Dan.
No, Dan, no, because that's not the case. Don't feed in to his narrative.
That is the start. I'll see you later.
No,
by the way,
I'm not buying it.
Charlie, pay the money.
No, we're not paying the money. So you either accept or he stays.
I know. It's going to be interesting. Then we will revisit that Garnacho talk because
we won't pay the money. We won't pay. They're not getting what they want. So they either accept our bid or he stays.
I love the way Chelsea fans talk about signings, though. It's sort of like, if you know, it just rolls off like, yeah, we'll probably get him and him and him. The rest of us are all sitting here shitting our pants that that there's 2 weeks left. Chelsea fans are like, yeah, we've got 2 weeks left. We probably get another 6 injury in that.
Well, we've got a lot. We've still got a lot of players to sell. We got a lot to sell that we need to get. There's about 6 or 7.
How many have you sold this summer?
Not as many as you think. We sold Kepa, Petrovic, Madueke.
You've sold about 10.
Who else has gone?
You've made 200 million. I mean, you made like 200 million.
Who's gone? Kepa, Petrovic, Madueke. Ish Samuel Smith went.
Hang on, I'm just bringing up the
to Burnley.
Broja, Ugachukwu, them two have gone. Dewsbury Hall. Yeah,
20 million for Broja.
Yeah, got 20 mil for him. Yeah,
ridiculous, man. Absolutely ridiculous. The guy's not kicked the ball for 2 years.
I'm just bringing it up on transfer market, right? Bearing in mind, I saw today that Villarreal are taking Renato Vega for
not done yet, but they want
it. I don't know how you get this money for these players, but right, so far this is what transfer market are saying, and I'm sure I'm missing some. They're saying Noni Madueke, João Felix, Petrovic, Ogachukwu, Dewsbury Hall, Broja, Amagu, Bashir Humphreys, Kepa, Bettinelli. When you're saying
he was free, Bettinelli, I think.
Not as many as I think. Spurs have sold
I forgot about those ones.
We've sold Son and then a goalkeeper for £1 million.
Hey, guys, if you guys need lessons, you know where to go in London for the lessons on selling.
These guys know what they're talking about.
The recruitment team, there it is.
He looks like Sam Neill.
The money team.
That is the money team.
That is the
friend of the channel as well.
Obscene wealth in that photo. But
I do want to.
We'll get a couple in, I think, tops, and we need to sell a few more. But I'm confident we'll do that. I never worry about us being able to sell players because we're always good at it. So
you always do it, and you always buy players as well. So no doubt you'll be getting a couple in before.
Couple will come,
as you said. But no doubt we'll be talking about that Garnacho deal over the course of the season because Dan United will be reminding you of that if he doesn't perform. But I just wanted to throw up Genie Esther, as mentioned on the Wisa talk, and maybe getting our striker because Keith Downey said that Newcastle expect to bid for Wisa in the next 24, 48 hours. Wisa will become a Newcastle United player. It's not if, it's when. So, Daz, we might have something to talk about separately with regards to this because it looks like we will be getting Wisa in. And look, we've waited for him for nearly a month now. So I do think that Newcastle will go the whole hog to ensure that they get their man, but then it just depends on who comes in next. Are we maybe talking about Wiese and Strand Larsen, Wiese and one other to allow Isak to go? Wiese and Isak would be the initial one on the list, but let's wait and see. I think
shout out to Big Tank as well with super chat. We didn't get that in earlier, so but cheers, Big Tank.
Absolutely.
Fabrizio Romano, by the way, has just said that it's about small tweaks. Now, this is how desperate we are as Spurs fans, right? It's about small tweaks. I expect the here we go to arrive very, very soon.
Get excited, Sava. Get excited.
You need to get a here we go-ometer.
Yeah. We were told he was travelling to London for a medical, and the next thing you know, we're in court dealing with Marinakis. So I'm kind of keeping my powder dry a little bit, Pete, all right? I don't want to get too excited.
I hear it. Me and Daz knew that. We had the here we go on João Pedro.
We did a reaction show and everything.
Yeah. So we've been there. We hear it. But lads, just really quickly, Charlie? Who have you got next in the Premier League?
West Ham away Friday night.
The Friday night kickoff.
Friday night.
You could be compounding Lawless into more.
Yeah, so I done a preview of Lawless today, and he was pretty depressed.
So at the Olympic Stadium, I imagine.
Yeah, it's there. Yeah, worst away there this season.
You won there last year?
Yeah, we did. 3-0.
So it could be a very bad weekend again for Lawless. And that voice note on Saturday
the voice note was incredible.
One of the best voice notes I've ever heard in my life. And I didn't hear it till the next day, but it just made me cry with laughter. But Sava, Tottenham, massive game. Game at the Etihad.
Oh, it's Man City Spurs, is it? Second game of the season.
But you won 4-0 there last year.
4-0 again?
Yes, I'm not expecting 4-0. No, listen, I tell you what, I'm really intrigued to see what Thomas Frank does tactics-wise. We've seen, as I said, we saw against PSG, we went to the back three. We've seen against Burnley, went to the back four. I think it's going to be a really tough game. I think Man City, I'll say it right now live on your channel, I think Man City, for me, are going to win the league title. I think they've signed some really good players. I think Rodri, when he comes back, will be, again, he's the best player in the world, right, coming back into your team. Reinders is ridiculous. All these people that were completely writing him off, he is quality. Haaland is Haaland. I think they're going to be a real class act. I'd take a draw if you offered to me now, but I think it's going to be a really tough game. Do we have Eze in by Saturday? I don't know. Does he play? Yeah, I don't know. But can we all spare a thought for Rangers?
Is it Saturday night football?
No, lunchtime.
Oh, it's 12:30.
Yeah, it's 12:30. Can we just all spare a thought for Rangers, who are 3-0 down in 20 minutes at home in their...
Russell Mine, he's done.
3-0
already.
Down
he's
home.
Done.
But yeah, listen, I think it's going to be... it's Man City. It's Man City. It's going to be tough, but I know what will happen. If we win it, our fans will start talking about league charges, title challenges. If we lose it, Thomas Frank's got to go, and he was the wrong appointment. And football fans in 2025, right? So we'll see. We'll see. But I do think we'll have a good season if we can get Eze and one other forward over the line of quality.
And just some quick thoughts from you guys, Daz. I don't know if you want to share your opinions on this. The Monday night football, St. James's Park, Newcastle against Liverpool. Massive game. How we seen this, Charlie, Sava, Daz? How we seen this one?
I'll be honest, Pete. The fact that you don't have a striker playing, I'm just not sure where the goals are coming from in the team. I think you can give Liverpool a very good game and you can match up with them pretty well. I'm just not sure who in that team is putting the ball in the back of the net for you. To take advantage of maybe a few defensive frailties in that back line for Liverpool. Whereas Liverpool going forward, the options they've got in that final third are a joke. So I would expect them to win. I'd probably say maybe Liverpool win 2-0, 2-1.
Okay. Sava,
where is it?
St. James's.
St. James's Park.
I think it'll be a draw. I think it'll be a draw. I've kind of gone off Liverpool a little bit. I don't know why. I don't know if it's pure jealousy, the fact that they're just dropping hundreds of millions of pounds on top players. I don't know. There's something, I don't know. Their fans make it easy to not like them as well. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. I think Newcastle will get something out of it. I think you're a very good team. I love your midfield three. I think it's absolutely solid. You're well organised. It's just whether or not you've got anyone to put the biscuit in the basket. If you have,
there is an Isak statement.
Yeah, I'm just about to read it out now. So he's put it on his Instagram, I imagine, and it reads,
Twitter as Romano's posted it as well. Yeah,
it reads like this: I'm proud to be recognised by my fellow professionals with a place in the PFA Premier League Team of the Season. First and foremost, I want to thank my teammates and everyone at Newcastle United who supported me along the way. I'm not the ceremony tonight with everything that's going on. It didn't feel right to be there. I've kept quiet for a long time whilst others have spoken. That silence has allowed people to push their own version of events, even though I know it doesn't reflect what was really said and agreed behind closed doors. The reality is that promises were made and the club has known my position for a long time. To now act as if these issues are only emerging is misleading. When promises are broken and trust is lost, the relationship can't continue. That's where things are for me right now, and why change is in the best interest for everyone, not just myself.
But this is what goes back to what I was saying at the top of the show, Pete. Why do players keep making agreements with clubs that are never kept ever? Why do they do this? It always ends badly every single time.
Yeah.
And by the way, I'm not saying. By the way, I do reckon we're not going to get back into this, but just quickly. I reckon Newcastle maybe have gone back on some things that might have been agreed. I don't think that's out of the question to say that.
Oh, the tables have turned. Newcastle are the bad guys.
Newcastle are the bad guys.
No. Goes to Liverpool and wins the quad.
There you go.
Goes and wins the quad.
There you
To
go.
answer your question, Pete, back to the game. I think Isak starts from the bench on against Liverpool now, and I think I won't give my prediction yet, but I think everyone needs to stay tuned to the big match preview, also known as away days. That should be volatile in itself. I think.
The atmosphere between the two.
Keep an eye on that one.
Newcastle.
Broken promises.
Newcastle. I'm going to make a video about this right now.
Broken promises. How dare you break promises?
The thing is, I know we've got to go, and I actually really need to go in 60 seconds, but Charlie, you're absolutely spot on. I mean, if I'm making a deal with my club, I want it written down in an addendum of the contract. Do you know what I mean? I want it added. Right. Yeah, we will let you go if XYZ happens. I want it in the contract. Not, oh, yeah, I'll shake. No.
Because all it is now is his word against the club's word.
Yeah.
There's no proof anywhere either way. The truth is probably somewhere in the truth somewhere in the middle. He's not acted well, and I suspect Newcastle broke promises as well that they made. So that's where we're at. Yeah, the truth's out.
Somewhere in
the middle, yeah.
But Newcastle United fans are now the ones in the middle of all of this, and that's the bit that we didn't want. But people, make sure you hit that like. We will be back, I imagine, with some more very, very soon around Isak and all things Newcastle United. But yeah, let's sign off for this season.
Chat you later. Cheers, boys.
Nice one, lads.
Cheers, chatters.
All night, get you wide up beside and tell me side to side. You can say, JC, you're too much for me. I am a little bit of loneliness, a little bit of disregard, handful of complaints, but I can't help the fact that everyone can see these scars. I am what I want you to want, what I want you to feel, and it's like no matter what I do, I can't convince you to just believe this is real. So let go, watching you, turn your back if you always do. Face away and pretend that I'm not. I'll be here 'cause you're all that I got.